Thanks, Neil. Close to 13,000 United Auto Workers have been on strike for a full week. No justice, no Jeeps has been the rallying cry of workers at Stellantis. Stellantis, one of the big three automakers along with Ford and General Motors, is facing strikes in 3 states. There's now concern that the strike will expand to other locations if demand deadlines are not met by noon tomorrow. Key issues include hourly pay and retirement benefits. Joining me now is Jonathan Handel, entertainment lawyer here in Los Angeles, previously serving as special counsel to SAG-AFTRA and on the legal team at the WGA. He's also written for The Hollywood Reporter, Puck, Variety, and Los Angeles Times. Good evening, Jonathan. This whole show, we've been talking about unions. You've been on the side of the organizations of the WGA, of SAG, the UAW now just walking out for a week. We heard a rumor last night that the WGA might end their strike, but no word on yet if UAW will. How do we know unions are getting close to reaching a deal? Is there even a way to tell?
It's very difficult, but you know the takeaway from your report really is that both in Hollywood and across the country, we are in a labor moment. As income inequality and wealth inequality have grown over the past 4 decades, and especially the past decade and a half, with the rise of big tech, workers have become more and more concerned about their compensation and about their control or lack of control over their work, and about the possibility of being displaced technologically. We're seeing that play out in the UAW walkouts, for example. Technology and the move to electric vehicles is driving some of the concerns there, many of them actually. And here in Hollywood, of course, AI, the pivot to streaming, and in the case of SAG-AFTRA, where they want an 11% wage increase and the studios are offering 5%, we are seeing the effect of inflation in the wake of the pandemic. So it is a very large and complicated set of issues. Of course, we do have 2 unions out, the writers and the actors. The actors are likely to go out next week. In addition, against the video game industry, a strike vote, authorization vote, is due back on Monday on that.
And Jonathan, another question for you. Unions are keeping up their hardball tactics. New York Times reporting earlier this week. The UAW has workers striking against all 3 automotive makers at once. Obviously, the WGA and SAG-AFTRA are both at the same time now. These unions, like they're saying, playing hardball tactics. Do you think this makes it, more incentivized for unions to reach a deal?
Well, the issue is whether management can read the tea leaves and understand that playbooks and assumptions that worked in the past when labor was less strong and had less public support, are dead and gone and no longer work today. As I think you reported, the CEOs of 4 of the major entertainment companies were in the room today and yesterday with the Writers Guild. Well, frankly, I excoriate them. It's outrageous that they weren't in the room 140 odd days ago when the strike, before the strike started, because there's no way to get a deal done on difficult, tough, sensitive and complex issues without the people who actually have the authority to make the deal, and that's the CEOs. It's a plus that they are finally in the room. It's a plus even that yesterday the press release that said we met yesterday, we're meeting tomorrow, which is today, was a joint press release between the writers and the Studio Streamer Alliance. 3 weeks earlier, they were at each other's throat and would never be issuing joint press releases. So we have some positive movement, but we don't have a deal today. The window is closing because you've got to get a deal with the writers and then a deal with the actors. And, we're starting to come close to bumping up against people going on vacation in November and then the holidays. And that puts us into next year, where the middle of next year, there are going to be 3 more major Hollywood contracts that are expiring. And you just don't want a combination, a bump up and a conflagration of all of these deals.
Jonathan, thank you so much. Auto workers on strike and Hollywood on strike as well, but I really appreciate you talking with me. Thanks again, Jonathan.
Thank you.